everybody. Welcome to Painology.
So, I just wanted to say, are we going to...
I am Barbie, and I am the president of the International Pain Foundation.
I am Ken, and together we're Ken and Barbie.
Yes, we
are.
And
the topic of today's broadcast is the cost of
why medications cost so much.
Why medications cost so much.
Yes, and we are going to get into that. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about what Painology is. And we are going to be broadcasting with Painology, which we've been putting together ideas. We have 4 seasons worth of ideas that we've been working on. So it can go for a long time. We got a lot to talk about in the chronic pain community. What is Painology?
Well, Painology is the study of pain.
It is.
So everything related to pain. I do want to say real quick, as we start, it should be known to everybody that the drug prices, and I'm talking about prescription drugs in America, is the highest price in the world. America pays the highest price for drugs in the entire world.
Yeah, medications, so whether it's over the counter or prescription, does take more money in the United States. So we're going to be covering this topic today. We are going to be covering multiple topics over the next few weeks and hopefully months and years as we delve into the Painology topics, the study of pain and all things that are related to pain. So we are, there we go. So now we have our comments up on the screen. So if comments come in, we can.
Is that how it works?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're new to this, so bear with us as well.
Yes, we are excited to be on ZubiaLive.com.
I'm hoping the volume is good. Please let us know if you can't hear us, because I don't know where the speaker is.
Yes, all good.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yay.
So, moving on.
Yeah, we will be coming back next Wednesday and the following Wednesday and the following Wednesday. So we are excited to be doing that. And while we're giving you guys a few minutes to get in, and before we start on today's topic, we are going to, in future broadcasts, we're going to cover topics related to chronic pain disease, living better daily, advocacy, and literally caregiving. Our show is for patients,
There's
caregivers,
so
providers.
many topics.
There's so many topics.
When we're talking healthcare and chronic pain, the topics just never end. It's endless topics. So what we plan to do is try to bring you information on the most common things that people deal with or live with on a daily basis.
And we hope that each show will give you an action item or a
something to take away that you can use in your own personal life. That will help you,
live better daily, navigate the
live better, navigate. That's what I was going to say. Navigate the healthcare system and so forth. So let's dive into this, because this is there's a lot of stuff here that we can talk about. We already told you that prescription drug prices in America are among the highest in the entire world. I think that's I don't know if that's alarming to too many people.
We're also the richest nation in the world, aren't we?
Well, yeah, and that's why I say I don't know if that's so alarming, but there are some alarming facts about it.
Wait till we tell you some of the facts of why
and
how this is affecting us as chronic pain patients that need good health care.
So
before we dive in, I'm just going to say, if this concerns you and the rising costs of medications concern you, we want you to contact your congressman and talk to them. Call them in their offices, or you can call the toll-free number to let your congressman know that this is affecting you. That toll-free number is 844-453-9952. Again, that is 844-453-9952. You can call that number and let your congressman know that you are loud and proud. You're raising awareness.
But you're very concerned about high prices of drugs, because these are things that you must. These are going to help you live a longer life.
Absolutely.
Or the person that you know and love and so forth. So some of the topics.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat, and we'll get to your questions. If it's appropriate, we'll blend it into what we're talking about.
Sure.
And if not, then we'll just jump to them at the end. but you can comment and you can interact with us. We love it. We thrive on that. So please, if you have anything else to say, please do that. Confusion, anxiety, and anger is happening in the chronic pain community over the high cost of drugs. And not just chronic pain, any chronic disease, right?
Well, it certainly causes anger. If you don't get the right answer, you keep getting funneled through a wormhole in the system, and you're not familiar with how to navigate through the system. It can certainly cause a lot of anxiety. You're already going with something that is life-changing, and to go through something else that's just not gonna, happening for you or in the way that you would like it to happen is just causes a whole lot more anger and anxiety. So it's not a surprise that when you're dealing with a health issue, there are other things involved that actually can help exacerbate your issue. But
yeah. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to cover in the next 15, 20 minutes are R&D's explanation, the pharmaceutical company's explanation of why the medication prices are so high, ways of drug pricing, how they price it affects why the cost is so high, how the profits are being used, patent law, I mean, contorted marketplace, limits on Medicare, and multiple middlemen. So those are some of the things that drive the price up in.
And speaking of driving the price up, I want to go over a couple of things here. And I'm going to leave the name of the drug out, but there is a new drug it's a cancer drug approved in March. Is about $156,000 per patient.
Per patient per year.
That's per year. A new muscular dystrophy drug came on the market late last year for an eye-popping price of $300,000 annually. And here's another one. In 2016, the FDA approved a new bladder cancer treatment drug that costs $12,500 per month. That's $150,000 a year if you were on that drug. So it's, even a millionaire would have a problem with trying to finance their own health care. You can't do it. You can't do it without insurance alone, or without insurance.
Imagine being on disability.
You have to be a billionaire to not care about, the cost of your treatment options, drugs and medications. So those are just a few things to consider that are relevant in our society. So
right. And even older drugs aren't immune to this problem. There's times when you see drugs 1 year it's
insulin,
a lower, for instance, insulin, it's a lower price, and then the next year it jumps up so high. In between 2013 between 2002 and 2013, there was a 500% increase in insulin prices. That's just, if you're diabetic, you have to have that medication to live.
Oh yeah.
If that's what your treatment option is.
There's reasons for this, and if we have enough time, we're going to get into it. So, because I know you may ask why is that?
Yes.
When it starts working, why are the prices go up? Doesn't it mean more people are getting it, using it, needing it, so the prices would come down, down, down? No. Well, it works differently in the drug market, in the pharmacy world, or pharmaceutical world. So
yes, there's actually some great questions coming in, and we're going to cover some of these questions in the topics. So I know that you guys can't see the comments, so we will share those as it's appropriate. But when it comes to pharmaceutical companies, they actually say that they offer several responses to why the prices are so high. First, they say that prescription drugs I thought this was interesting. Prescription drugs only amount to 10% of the medical bills each year. 10%. I would have thought it would be more.
Drugs okay, so but back up. The overall amount is over $600 billion, right? In the drug world.
About 600.
Or not the drug
world,
in the medical world.
In the chronic pain world, 635 billion with a B dollars
is spent annually.
Yes, on medical expenses, lost wages, and so on and so forth.
Of that, the
only
drugs,
10%.
The prescription drugs,
yes,
are only 10% of that.
Yes.
So which is still an outstanding, astronomical number.
Right.
And I like the
But
questions
by
coming in, and we're
comparison,
going to get to those, and we have those on the list. Those will be answered.
yes. But
So
30 in comparison, 32% of that 635 billion a year for chronic pain costs goes to hospital expenses. And I can tell you, as a chronic pain patient, I try to avoid the hospital at all costs. So what does that say about? I mean, we're not even getting that good of care when we go to the emergency room when it comes to chronic pain needs.
Is it? But then you've got acute pain and chronic pain. You
Right.
know, and hospitals are most generally treating acute pain more so than chronic pain. Wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
another thing that you hear from the pharmaceutical companies is in the United States, patients have a better access to care and medications prior to other countries. It can take up to 2 additional years in other countries that patients just don't even have the medication that we have available here in the United States. So to me, that's interesting as well, because we know that it takes 10 to 20 years for a new medication to come to market. And did you know that the FDA has only approved just over 1,400 medications since the early 1900s? I mean, that's not very many medications.
But as
there's 7,000 rare diseases.
Yeah, but what you also have to consider is that they don't remain prescription. A lot of times they don't, they fall from a prescription to a lesser or over-the-counter type of.
True.
So that's just prescription drugs. 1,400 plus, that's a lot, but it's not as big as what you might think or would think. But I just want to say the industry, a couple of things here, bullet points for the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, but the industry's primary defense of rising medicine prices are the high costs associated with drug development. Drug companies spend over 10 years and up to $2.6 billion bringing a drug to market, according to the 2016 Journal of Health Economist article based on research by the Stuff Center.
And recently, Ken and I attended a conference where we talked about clinical trials and what it takes to bring a drug to market. And at that conference, we learned that for one medication that goes to market, they actually start with like 2,000 to 3,000 medication ideas that gets whittled down in the process going through trials. By the time it reaches the FDA, there's already over 2,000 medications that failed to get that one drug to the FDA to be approved. So I can see why 2.6 billion per medication.
Well,
it adds up when you also, because they're lumping all the failed ones into the medication that ends up working.
Well, but in that number, that $2.6 billion also accounts for salaries, labs, clinical trials, expenses, and manufacturing.
Yeah.
The remaining amount is about 1.2 billion.
Yeah. Living
so
Healthy
that's a different.
If we think that pharmaceutical companies care more about their profits and their shareholders more than they do patients and caregivers. And I think without patients and caregivers, I think it's a fine line. Slope. Yeah, I honestly believe it's a slippery slope.
It is a fine line because we all feel that they care about their own first and most.
But if they didn't have patients,
that's the whole thing. But if it wasn't successful, it would just be a waste, and a huge waste that would just bankrupt them.
Right. And I have seen companies in the last 2 years, I've seen pharmaceutical companies starting to reach out to the patient population to say, hey, how can we make our clinical trials better? How can we?
We're 13 minutes in.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of information I want to get to.
Okay, go, baby, go.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. There's a couple questions on from
Yes, I was answering your
question. But even after accounting for their research investment, however, drug companies are among the most profitable public businesses in America, which I think we all kind of assume that is to be true.
And someone asked earlier how our congressman can help. Well, the drug companies are one of the largest in the business arena. But the two largest businesses in the United States are the Republican platform and the Democrat platform.
And next would be
pharmaceuticals. So if we want to make a change, we have to do that through our congressmen.
Right. In addition, drug companies increasingly focus on products that can generate the highest profits. the majority of drugs approved by the FDA are now expensive specialty drugs. Many drug companies are also pursuing orphan drugs, medicines targeting diseases that afflict fewer than 200,000 people, which is also a rare disease.
Right, rare diseases and orphan diseases. There's over 7,000
But that
rare
defines
diseases.
a rare disease.
Right,
200,000 patients or less. Do you think that the drug companies really care about their shareholders?
Well, they do.
The government,
they do actually. The government provides subsidies for drug companies to work on orphan disease medication. So it is an incentive for them to work on these medications. We just need to get them working on.
You know, the sad part is a lot of people that are faced with a disease or something new, they've got to make choices, big choices, because the amount of your monthly prescription now is well over what your car payment is, and it's approaching, even in a lot of cases, more than your mortgage.
Right.
So you've got to, do you not put food on the table just so that you can live longer, but you're going to live? What kind of trade-offs are we really forced to take live with, I guess?
Right. In majority of FDA approved drugs are specialty drugs. So again, that's important to keep in mind, that we are starting to see that the specialty drugs are making it to the market. And we are also interested in helping see the Open Act and the Right to Try Act pass in our Congress federally, pass in our Congress and Senate, because the right to try something will hopefully help get better access to care and treatments for people with orphan diseases and less known diseases and diseases that don't have a medication.
Well, and I think medications are getting better, so people are living longer. You just got to have a nice or figure out how to have a nice healthcare system to help you take care of the medication, the cost of medication.
And one thing is, in the United States, drug companies can set their own price. They can choose how much they're going to charge, whereas other countries,
they drive they bargain with them with their
caps
prices.
on their prices.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, there was a great piece about VA. The VA has a negotiating power, and per the federal government, the Medicare has not got a negotiating power. However, the VA has to list the drugs in their formulary in order for them to be accepted and covered and everything. But so they get them at like 80% less than what Medicare has to pay for them.
Right.
That's pretty incredible.
Right.
I did want to share this though. The supply of a newer medicine, however, is controlled entirely by the drug manufacturer that holds the patent rights. That gives the manufacturer a monopoly on the drug for the 20-year life of the patent. During that time, it is free to raise the price as frequently and as much as the market will bear. An example, last February, Evizio, many of you may remember Evizio, an auto-injected drug that is used to treat opioid overdose, jumped to over $4,000 from $690 in 2014 alone, just as demand for the medication was quickly rising. You may not realize the high cost of medicine if you're relatively healthy, have insurance, cover those occasional needs for, say, a week's course of antibiotics. But if you or someone in your family develops a chronic or serious condition, prepare for sticker shock. Sticker shock. It doesn't take much. In even being like the richest country in the world, it takes nothing for sticker shock to take place whenever you're talking about healthcare.
If a medication is costing you $300,000 a year, even if you're a millionaire, there's three, and you can't work anymore because you're sick. You get 3 years of medication and then you're done.
And that's a millionaire.
That's a millionaire.
Okay. Well, this 1 million. A millionaire is more than 1 million. I don't care how you chop it up. If you're a millionaire and you're paying for your own meds to stay alive, you may it's going to create anxiety and depression for all of them.
Right.
So there's
also a middleman in
drug prices affect everyone.
Right. There's also a middleman involved. in the situation.
yes.
Our pharmacies. Our farms also work on negotiating prices and that type of thing. So it's really important to keep that in mind, that we're not even responsible for the marketplace when it comes to our medications and what's going on. Our doctor prescribes it. Our pharmacy negotiates the price for us. I think if we as consumers could say more and do more, it would be a lot better for everybody to get the prices that they need, or to get the price down.
But also, you know, on that point, there's you know, patients that are fortunate enough to have good health coverage. Higher prices translate into higher out-of-pocket costs and premiums and deductibles for everybody to share.
Right.
In really a group insurance policy right now is about the only way that we can do a lot of the things that we do.
Right, but even some of the medications that I need,
treatments,
they're not even on the formulary in our private insurance.
Some of the things that have worked best for her to get out of a wheelchair are not covered by insurance, and it's a shame. You know, it takes a while for FDA to prove these things. I do understand. One reason that your health insurance rates are high is because you're subsidizing other people's high costs of medicines. So, you know, that person, I think there was, for example, imagine the euphoria if a company developed a breakthrough treatment for Alzheimer's disease. This is just an example, okay? Let's say it costs $60,000 per year per patient, and it gets prescribed to every American with the disease. Every American with Alzheimer's pays $60,000. Okay, to pay for the medicine, insurance premiums for each privately insured person in the U.S. would increase by more than $140 per month.
Right. Nuts.
And it really is. It's, you know,
and that's only 10% of our healthcare costs, is these medications at these crazy prices.
Yeah. Well, and you would expect that maybe, you know, as they are out and they start paying for themselves, because it takes, you know, a couple $1 billion to get the drug to the point of,
I think
so you would expect the prices to come down. But the more demand, it seems like in this industry, the more in demand it is, the more they want to raise their prices, because there's, I guess because they're not regulated to.
Right. There's not regulation, which again, if you are interested in or worried or angry or mad about prescription medication costs and prices, I think that you should reach out to your congressperson. And that number is toll free, 844-453-9952. 844-453-9952.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we got the number at the beginning of the program and at the end of the program.
Yes.
We put it at the beginning so that you wouldn't have to watch all the way to the end to get it again.
Yes.
So
I think that this is a topic that people would like to hear more about. We have some great questions about generic medications and such. Next week, we're going to be talking about the energy penny principle. And the following week, we're going to go back to talking about finances and navigating the financial aspects of healthcare, especially when it comes to chronic pain. So we will touch on some of the things.
Such a wide, broad topic.
Right.
And it affects everybody, because even if it doesn't affect you, it affects somebody that you do know. And that is, you know, that is what we do know, that you are affected. And even if, just as the last topic, you know, fact that we shared is like, your insurance helps pay for the other people that are on your insurance.
Right.
You know,
it's a pool.
You're healthy. Because you're healthy, you are a benefit to that insurance company for not
for the people who have chronic pain and chronic diseases.
It's a shared cost.
Right. I think the more that we know, the more that we make phone calls, that we go in person. If you're able to physically go in person to meet with your Congress people and your senators from your state and federally, to say, hey, we have to make a change. We are here to make a difference.
Yes, that's harder said than done, or easier said than done, for sure. But keep in mind, the heated topic in today's society in America is healthcare. That is a huge topic at the forefront of the current administration, the past administration. Everything is up in the air.
We have to keep the pressure on.
That's
or the
exactly. So
administration
now is the time.
and our leadership across the country are not going to change anything unless we use our voices and we call at the minimum, write letters at the minimum. If you can go in person, it helps to go and put a face to a name and say, I am Barbie Engel. I live with 20 different diseases and I need your help to make sure that I get the proper health care. Or if they're the caregiver, they're saying, this is the situation, this is our reality. We want you to remember us, remember our faces. When you
Ken and Barbie, you can't forget
you
Ken
can't
and
forget
Barbie.
Ken and Barbie, but you, whoever you are, Julie and Jeffrey and Johnny and
That's
Michael,
right. That's right.
all of
Thank
you
you
watching.
for participating. Thank you for your
Yes.
questions. I hope we did get some of your questions answered. There's just a lot of time, a lot of things to go through.
Yeah,
that we wanted to make.
more for next time.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. Thanks for attending, and we hope excited to speak with you again.
And we look forward to next week's edition of Painology with Ken and Barbie.
And
Thank
the
you.
Penny Energy Penny Principle.
Thank you so much.